Hello guys, welcome back to another COMC video. Today we will be at another question here, and as always, let's first start off by reading the question. So, if, in brackets, bd plus cd is an odd integer, show that the cubic polynomial x to the power 3 plus bx squared plus cx plus d cannot, sorry I've highlighted it anyway, cannot be expressed in the form x plus r, x squared plus px plus q, where b, c, d, r, p, and q are all integers. So let's first look at here, bd plus cd. Now we're going to factor this, I've written it up here. We're going to factor this into b plus c times d. And you need to realize this, which is that this has to be an odd integer. And if you didn't know, if something, okay, you need to have two odd numbers multiplied together to receive an odd integer. For example, if you have an odd times even number, you get an even number, and if you have two even numbers multiplied together, you still get an even number. So this means that both d and b plus c have to be odd, right? So this means that d, I'll write it down here, d odd. Now, because b plus c is also going to be odd, we now know that either b is even and c is odd, or vice versa. So now let's prove why it cannot be expressed in this form. So for now, we'll just assume that this is correct, and after that, we'll prove why it can't be correct. So here, we're going to expand this. So x power 3 plus px squared plus qx plus rx squared plus rpx plus rq. And this is going to be equal to x power 3, so we're going to combine the like terms together, plus in brackets p plus r x squared plus in brackets q plus rpx plus rq. And you will see here, this relates directly to this thing, a cubic polynomial. As you can see here, b would be p plus r, c would be q plus rp, and d would just be equal to rq. So this means, I'll write this down here, b equals p plus r, c equals pr plus q, and d is going to be equal to rq. So now let's relate it back to here. We can see that because d is odd, and I just talked about how two numbers multiplied together, if a number is multiplied by another number and the result is odd, the two numbers that are multiplied together have to be odd. So r and q here have to be odd, right? So now let's look at b and c. Now, as I said before, for b plus c to also be odd, this means that either b is going to be even and c is going to be odd, or c is going to be even and b is going to be odd. So just keep that in mind. So now we can look at p here, because we know that r is odd, we know that q is also odd. So now the only thing we don't know here is p. So let's do some case work really quickly. Let's say if p is even, and I've got a little equals arrow. We know what, if p is even, this means that, let's look at here, p plus r, it would be an even plus an odd, which is going to be an odd integer, and down here, pr plus q. Now we know that an even integer times an odd integer is still going to be an even integer. So here, we see it would be an even number plus an odd number, which is still going to be an odd number. So this means that b plus c is going to be equal to an even number. Because in this scenario, b plus c are both odd, and two odd numbers added together are going to be even. And this obviously contradicts the first statement and is not true, because as you can see here, bd plus cd is an odd integer, and so this means that b plus c also has to be an odd integer, and as I just said here, b plus c is even in this case. So now let's go to our second case. What if p is odd, right? Well, similarly, as you can see here, let's say p is odd. So this means that p plus r is the odd integer plus an odd integer, which would be even. So b is even here. Similarly, you see, as I said before, r we know is an odd number, and an odd number times another odd number is still going to be an odd number. And since q is also odd, an odd number plus an odd number is also an even number. So b and c are now both even, and obviously two even numbers add together. So for example, think of like 2 plus 4 equals 6. It's still going to be an even number. And yeah, this means that, as I said before, this contradicts our previous statement that we just made. This means that no matter what, so if p is even or p is odd, in the two cases, this means that no matter what, it cannot be expressed in this form without contradicting this this term here, this conditional, which is why x to the power 3 plus bx squared plus cx plus d cannot be expressed in the form x plus r x squared times x squared plus px plus q, where b, c, d, r, p, and q are all integers. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any other way to solve this problem, please let me know down below in the comments, and thank you guys for listening. Bye.